London's been hit by another one of Mrs. Bird's cold snaps, which means it's time for making snowmen. This one reminds me of someone. I know, Mr. Curry.
Bear?
Ah! It even sounds like him.
Come over here, Bear.
Oh, it is you, Mr. Curry.
I've caught a nasty cold in my doze.
A cold in your doze?
Not my doze, my nose.
Oh, you mean your nose?
And if that isn't enough, my system is frozen.
Your system's frozen, Mr. Curry. Oh, dear. I better get Mrs. Bird to send for Dr. McAndrew.
I don't want a doctor, Bear. I want Mr. James, the plumber. It's my water pipes that are frozen solid, not my insides.
Oh.
Here! Give him my front door key and tell him it's an emergency. He can let himself in. And tell him not to make too much noise. I shall probably be in bed asleep. And no hanging about on the way. If you're quick, I may even give you 10 pence.
If I had all the 10 pences Mr. Curry's promised me over the years, I'd be rich.
Curry? I know him and his little jobs. He still hasn't paid me for the last one I did, and that was 6 months ago.
It's nice to know I'm not the only one.
Tell him for me that before I do any more little jobs for him, I want to see the colour of his money.
Oh, I expect he would show it to you, Mr. James, only he may be asleep.
That wouldn't surprise me.
He's got a cold, you see, and...
Well, OK. I'll lend Mr. Curry these, a blow lamp and a do-it-yourself book on plumbing.
It's very kind of you, Mr. James, but...
Tell him I'm all booked up, so it's take it or leave it.
Knowing Mr. Curry, I think he would rather I'd left it. On the other hand, I knew he wouldn't be best pleased if he woke up and found his pipes were still frozen. The Plumber's Mate by Bert Stilson. Everything the amateur plumber needs to know.
It sounds as if Mr. Curry is having trouble with his plumbing.
I wouldn't want to be the unlucky person who has to fix those old pipes. Whoa!
Mr. James! Can't you hit those pipes quietly? Quiet!
Everything's coming along fine, Mr. Curry.
One of the best methods of thawing a frozen pipe is pouring boiling water over rags wrapped around it. If the pipes are frozen, where am I supposed to get the water to boil? What's that funny smell?
Mr. James, what's that funny smell?
Oops. Things are just heating up in here, Mr. Curry.
It's funny that Mr. Stilson does his plumbing in warm weather when pipes would never freeze. Heating the pipe is another effective method. Fancy leaving it until the last chapter to tell people that. Hooray!
What's going on in there?
I think the water's starting to flow.
Once the pipes are thawed, check for leaks. Checked. Tape wrapped tightly around a small leak will serve as a temporary repair.
Mr. James? How's the job coming along then, eh? Nearly finished. I'm dying for a nice hot bath.
Everything's just fine, Mr. Curry.
Well, I hope you're not charging me by the hour.
Nearly finished, Mr. Curry.
Good.
Likely trouble spots are... This must be where the water's frozen.
The water's running at last. Bear? Bear? Where's Mr. James? Where's all this water coming from, Bear?
Paddington, it's Mr. Curry to see you.
I just wanted to thank you, Bear. Here's your 10 pence and a box of cream buns as a bonus for a job well done.
Well done.
Yes, thanks to you, Bear, all the pipes in my bathroom are going to be repaired professionally. My insurance is paying for it because the pipes broke during the night.
You're lucky, Mr. Curry, that you didn't have a clause in your insurance policy saying you weren't covered for freezing pipes.
Yes, but in this case, it had nothing to do with a clause. It was paws that did it.
Oh!
And if ever I need another act of Bear, I'll know where to come.
Act of Bear? Well, I never.
You know, Aunt Lucy, I wanted very much to be a guest on Lucky for Some. It's a television quiz show, and with Mr. Gruber's help, I finally got my chance.
Don't miss Lucky for Some coming next.
Hurry up, Paddington. Your favourite program's starting. Lucky for Some is right. I'm missing football on the other channel.
And now, it's Lucky for Some with your host, the one and only Ronnie Playfair.
Thank you. And welcome to Lucky for Some, the quiz show that's lucky for some, especially the Jackpot winner.
Do we have to watch this?
It is Paddington's favourite programme, and he insisted that we watch it tonight.
Then where is he?
So let's meet our first contestant all the way from Windsor Gardens, Mr. Paddington Brown.
Are you sure you're right, Mr. Brown?
Yes, Mr. Playfair, this is your letter inviting me to be a contestant. I live at 32 Windsor Gardens, but I'm originally from darkest Peru.
Oh, well, we won't expect you to prove that, but we will expect the bare facts tonight. Yes, anyway, perhaps you'd like to step forward and send a message to anyone out there who knows you.
Maybe this program isn't such a load of rubbish after all.
If you ask me, television will never be the same again.
Hello, all at number 32. I hope I won't be late, Mrs. Bird. Mr. Gruber promised to bring me straight home and...
Hey, watch it! You must be more careful with your marks.
My marks? But I had a bath this morning, specially. Huh?
No, not dirt marks. I mean the ones you are supposed to stand on for the camera position.
But you asked me to step forward.
I said step forward, not go for a walk. Anyway, it's time to play the game, so come this way.
Perhaps you need a box to stand on.
That's better. Now for the rules. You have 5 seconds to answer each of the questions. You must answer them correctly to stay in the game, keep your winnings, and go on to try for the jackpot! Now, which category do you choose? History, geography, mathematics, or general knowledge?
Mathematics, please. Bears are good at sums.
Mathematics. Okay. Mathematics it is. I must warn you, this may be a trick question. How many buns make 5?
2.5.
I'm afraid that's incorrect. I did warn you it was a trick question.
Fancy getting the first one wrong.
That's not like him at all. He must have something up his sleeve.
What you should have answered was, it depends on whether you're buying or selling.
But I wasn't doing either. I share my buns with Mr. Gruber, so we have 2.5 each.
He's right. Young Mr. Brown and I share our 11s every morning.
Give him the money!
Give him the money! Give him the money!
Very well, then. Here's your £5.
Thank you, Mr. Playfair. But do you think I could have a bun to be going on with? Answering questions makes you very hungry.
Oh. Now, do you want to go on? The questions get harder. Just one wrong answer and you lose all the money you've already won.
I'd like to go on, please.
Okay. This is a two-part question. If you cut an 8-foot length of wood in half, then half again, and then those pieces in half, how many pieces would you have?
8.
Correct! Now, how long will each of the pieces be?
8 feet.
Oh, what a pity! The answer, of course, is 1 foot. I thought that was pretty obvious.
Not to a bear, it isn't. I cut mine the other way.
The other way? There is no other way.
If you like, I'll prove my point.
Prove your point! Prove your point!
Prove your point! Prove your point!
Oh, this is absurd!
You see, if you have paws, it's much safer to cut it down the middle.
There's no need to count it. It's all there. Now, do you wish to answer the final question, which is worth £500?
Oh, yes, please, Mr. Playfair.
For £500. If it takes 2 men 20 minutes to fill a 50-gallon bath full of water using 1 tap, how long will it take 1 man to fill the same bath using both taps?
Why, no time at all.
I'm afraid you're wrong, Mr. Brown. The answer is exactly half the time.
Oh, I'm afraid you're wrong, Mr. Playfair.
Nonsense.
Prove your point! Prove your point!
Very well. Prove your point.
Would you read the question again, please?
If it takes 2 men 20 minutes to fill a 50-gallon bath using 1 tap, how long will it take 1 man to fill the same bath using both taps?
As I said, no time at all, because you didn't say the bath was emptied after it was filled the first time.
All right. You win the jackpot.
The jackpot? You said I'd win £500.
The jackpot is £500.
Jackpot! Jackpot! Jackpot!
Just one more question. What will you do with all this money?
I think I'll keep a little bit as a souvenir and use some to buy Christmas presents. Then I'll give the rest to the Home for Retired Bears in Lima, Peru. I hope that you and the other bears can put the money to good use, Aunt Lucy. I've now found a much better program to watch. It's called Prove Your Point. And I hope I can do well on that, too.
Don't we all, Paddington? Don't we all?
Rolling the bandits, pinafore by a length. Jasmine second, and runs ragged on the outside at 10 to 1.
10 to 1? It's not 10 to 1. It's only 12:30.
It's runs ragged, winning by a neck at 10 to 1.
He did it again. Someone should tell the announcer, Seamus O'Reilly, that he's got the wrong time.
Here are more toothpicks to add to your collection, Paddington.
We shan't have any left for our teeth if you carry on picking winners like that.
So, Paddington, which horse is going to win the next race?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I pick horse number 6.
And the horses for the next race come to the starting gate. At 10 to 1, number 6, Lion's Share.
Fancy saying it's 10 to 1 when it's only 12:30. You'd think working on television he'd know the time. They say horse racing is a game of seconds, but Mr. O'Reilly isn't even getting the half hours right. At least it hasn't stopped me from picking the winning horses.
Winning horses? Psst. Bear, did I hear you've been picking the winning horses at the races?
Oh, yes, Mr. Curry. I've just won another 30 on the last race.
Have you now? Well, Bear, why don't we have an afternoon at the races together? Then you can pick some winners for me.
I've never been to a real racecourse before. All right, Mr. Curry, but before we go, I have to get something to take to Seamus O'Reilly.
Don't be long. I'll call a taxi. There's no time to be lost, so I can win a fortune.
Why are you taking a cab then, if you haven't any money?
Yes, Mr. Curry. Perhaps we should have taken the bus.
Well, you see, if you can wait until after the race, I'll have plenty.
OK. But you'll have to leave me something as a guarantee you'll be back.
Here, take this.
Wait. I need my jar of marmalade. Promise to take good care of my suitcase. There's a surprise inside for Seamus O'Reilly.
A surprise?
It's just a little something to teach him a lesson.
A lesson? I wonder what kind of surprise.
Hello.
Good day, sir.
Yes, good day indeed.
What's this? Sounds like ticking. Ticking? A surprise? A bomb! Help! Police! There's a bomb in this suitcase! My beautiful card, there's a bomb!
Stop! Put it down, man. Gently now. I'll contact the bomb squad. Control, this is an emergency. There's a bomb, I repeat, a bomb at the racecourse.
All right, Bear. Which horse will win the next race?
1, 2, 3.
Hurry up,
4,
Bear.
5, 6,
There'll be plenty of time for
7,
eating later.
8. Horse number 8 will win the race, Mr. Curry.
Right. And what are you putting on the race? Well?
I might risk 3 toothpicks, Mr. Curry.
3 toothpicks? Oh, never mind. I'll be back.
Me too, Mr. Curry. I have to find Mr. O'Reilly.
I wonder where that bear's got to.
He's probably getting more marmalade. He seems to find it a help when he's picking his horses.
It seems to work.
I'm not going to wait like a commoner. Look at that!
And it's Poison Ivy on the outside, debonair by the neck. No, Poison Ivy! Poison Ivy takes it at 5 to 1.
Excuse me, Mr. O'Reilly. It's not 5 to 1, and it wasn't 10 to 1 when Runs Ragged won the race.
What? What's this? The horses for the next race are being turned away from the starting gate. There's some kind of disturbance in the car park. It's the bomb squad. They're having trouble with a taxi and a suitcase.
Suitcase? That's my suitcase. There isn't a bomb in it. I've got to stop them.
12 quid on Toasty. Horse number 8 in the 7th.
Sorry, sir. The race has been delayed.
Ah.
A young bear has just informed me that the suitcase is his and that there is no bomb in it. But can he get there in time to stop the bomb squad from disposing of it? And he's off, in the middle of the pack. A length behind 2 ladies and passing on the outside.
Paddington!
The bear is a neck ahead of the security guard and passing a peanut vendor and heading into the bend. And he's through and out. The bear's picking up speed, moving left, moving right. He's only a few lengths from the taxi and... Oh!
Hey!
What a surprise move! It's the final stretch! He's made it!
There's no bomb in the suitcase. It's all a mistake. It's only a clock for Mr. O'Reilly.
What excitement, ladies and gentlemen! Thanks to that bear, the next race is about to begin.
Go, Toasty! Go! 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 Last place! Oh, why did I trust that bear? Ah!
You kept saying 10 to 1, but it was only 12:30.
10 to 1 is the odds, not the time.
Right, it's not the time. So that's why I brought you the clock.
Well, thanks all the same.
I want to talk to you, Bear. The horse you chose lost, and I've lost all my money with it.
Let me get this straight. This young bear picks horses, and you bet on them. Perhaps, Mr. Brown, you would care to tell the live audience how you pick the winners.
It's very simple, Mr. O'Reilly. I take a spoonful of marmalade, then I count the chunks, and that gives me the number of the horse.
Marmalade chunks? I lost all my money on marmalade chunks!
So how do you plan to pay me for the taxi fare? That's what I want to know.
That's the last time I go racing with you, Bear!
Perhaps in the future, you should be like Mrs. Bird and stick to toothpicks. They're much safer, and you can always use them again. £4 just to sit in a deck chair?
No, mate. It's £4 for the rental of the chairs. You've 4 chairs there, and they're £1 each. £4. Think yourself lucky I'm not charging extra seeing the mess you've made of them. Hard luck, mate. Enjoy the beach.
Here, what are you doing to my chairs?
Your chairs? Oh. I just paid £4 for these chairs.
Then where are your tickets?
My tickets? But I haven't got any tickets.
Then you've been done.
Done? But I've only just got here.
If it's any consolation, you're not the first to be tricked out of your money this morning. £4, please.
But I don't have any money left. Whoa!
Paddington?
What seems to be the problem here?
A little matter of paying for the use of these beach chairs.
But I've already paid £4, Mr. Brown.
I'm afraid you'll have to say goodbye to it. It sounds like South Coast Charlie's work to me.
South Coast Charlie?
He's a con man in these parts. Works the beaches and swindles people out of their money.
Like my £4.
It's disgusting, taking advantage of a young bear like that. I'd like to get my hands on him.
You'd be doing us all a service, madam.
Find reporter Basil Budd and win £20.
It's one of them newspaper stunts. The first person to confront him and say, "You're Basil Budd," gets a £20 reward.
That'll be easy.
He'll be in disguise, though. Probably wearing a false beard or something. You'll need a keen eye.
Oh, don't you worry. Bears have very keen eyes. There's a beard.
Don't forget to meet us at the restaurant for lunch, Paddington.
Aha! You're Basil Budd and I claim my £20.
Let go of my beard. I am not Basil Budd.
Oh.
Well, I never. Little bear comes out and pulls my beard. Well, never seen you like it in my life.
That's the trouble with beards. It could be anyone underneath them.
What's this?
I have you now, Basil Budd.
Ow! My beard!
Your beard's real.
I know that. Help!
Yeah! Hey!
Is there anything the matter, Paddington? You're looking very down in the dumps.
It seems I'm never going to find Basil Budd.
You should never give up, Paddington. What's up now?
I think it's Basil Budd behind that beard.
You should never give up, Paddington. Really, Henry?
You're Basil Budd, and I would like my £20, please.
Go away! Hey, what are you doing? Ow! My beard! Stop! Let go! My beard!
What's all this about? I'm going to call the police.
The police? No, there's no need. I'm fine.
Yes, it was all a misunderstanding.
Hey! That bear! He's the one who pulled on my beard!
Mine too. I could have drowned.
That's nothing. He buried me alive so he could yank on my beard.
That's it. I'm calling the police. You've got some explaining to do.
I've been looking for Basil Budd to try and make up for the money South Coast Charlie took from me.
He gave it quite a yank then, did he?
That's one way to put it.
What have you got to say for yourself, young bear? Pulling people's beards is a serious offence.
Not if it's a false one. I have you now, Basil Budd.
Oh, Paddington!
Hey, you're not Basil Budd. You're South Coast Charlie.
Oh!
South Coast Charlie? Are you sure?
He tricked me out of £4 this morning.
So, let's go for a little ride down to the station, shall we? We have other witnesses who can help identify South Coast Charlie. And if you're right, you'll get your £4 back. And a reward to boot.
Thank you, officer.
Congratulations. I would be honoured to present you and your guests lunch on the house.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Bears always fall on their feet.
What a great story. This'll make the front page. If you wouldn't mind, I would very much like to write a story about you for tomorrow's paper, Mr.
Paddington Brown. And you're Basil Budd.
Oh, yes. Yes, I am. Now, if I could just ask you a few questions.
May I have my £20 now, please?
£20? In all this excitement, I clear forgot about the contest.
I think I'd like to come to the beach more often. It's very good value. Dear Aunt Lucy, today we went shopping. At least we tried to. Although he doesn't know it yet, Mr. Brown needs a new car.
Henry, why do you insist on hanging on to this old car?
Because, Mary, they knew how to make cars in those days. Just feel the quality of that. Oh, whoops. Left, Paddington.
Yes, Mr. Brown. I don't mind doing the turn signals for you because yours are on the blink.
You mean off the blink?
As you know, Aunt Lucy, I'm a big believer in coincidences. And when I read about a competition in which the first prize was a Rolls-Royce, I just had to enter it for Mr. Brown's sake. All I had to do was think up a slogan for these delicious new currants. Mrs. Brown, does the taste of these currants remind you of anything?
They taste like cough syrup.
Yes, I thought it was just me. Mr. Brown?
Oh, turn here. Right, Paddington.
No, the high street's one way. Left, Paddington.
No, it's right.
Left.
There's someone here who wants to speak to you.
You see, Mr. Brown, if you drive all over the road, no one knows which way you're going.
Oh, but they do, officer. See? We signal with this.
Aha! Non-regulation indicators.
Oh, they're actually going to make me pay those tickets?
Paddington, there's a letter for you. It's from that current company.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. The letter said, "Congratulations, you're a winner." I couldn't believe it. but I couldn't celebrate right away. I wanted to surprise the Browns.
I shall have to put myself at the mercy of the court.
Does anyone know where Pond Street is?
It's near where Mr. Brown's going. He'll take you. And Henry, none of this would have happened if you'd bought a new car, like I said.
Paddington Brown. I won. It says right here.
There must be some mistake. We've already awarded the Rolls-Royce to a gentleman from Scotland. He's picking it up this afternoon. Yes. You didn't read the small print. It's hard to make out, but trust me, you're not our grand prize winner. Oh, but you did receive a consolation prize. You and 9,999 others were sent bookmarks.
A bookmark isn't much consolation when you were expecting a Rolls-Royce.
Why don't I give you a crate of currants? We're trying to get rid of them.
But I don't even like currants, and I've eaten 15 boxes of them.
Between you and me, I don't know how you could stand them. Reminded me of cough syrup. May I ask what your slogan was?
A currant a day keeps the doctor away.
Well, in that case, after 15 boxes, you shouldn't need medical attention for quite some...
Inoperative horn, faulty brakes, and the turn signals don't work. It says here you were all over the road, Mr. Brown.
But all minor adjustments, Your Honour. And as for the turns, who could blame my wife if she was mixed up about the directions to the high street? And certainly the person who was doing the signals should not be blamed. He's from darkest Peru.
Darkest Peru?
Let's just say it was an innocent mix-up.
Mix-up indeed. A mix-up that you ever got your driving licence in the first place. But to show the accused leniency, I will order you to be retested immediately. An examiner will meet you shortly at your car. Oh, and Mr. Brown, I suggest you buy a new one.
It had been a busy morning, what with winning a Rolls-Royce and losing it all in the same day. I was in need of a little relaxation.
Are you Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Right, let's get started, shall we? Do you have a current licence?
Current?
No, thank you. I've just got over a cold. Now, your licence. Oh.
Oh, that's my marmalade sandwich.
A marmalade sandwich?
You like them too? Don't worry, I always keep an extra one under my hat in case of an emergency.
Let's get started. Please start the car.
I'll do my best. The only driving Mr. Brown usually lets me do is with my shopping basket on wheels.
Mr. Brown? But you are Mr. Brown, aren't you? Ah!
Well, yes, I am Mr. Brown, but so is Mr. Brown. He's the Mr. Brown who owns this car, but we both help drive it. He does all the steering and changing gears, and I look after the directions.
Right!
Yes, just like that. Now, since the turn signals aren't working, I usually use this big arrow in the back seat.
Oh, God, new car indeed. Oh,
Mr. Brown!
Hello? Left, Paddington! No, right, Paddington!
Oh, there's Mr. Brown now. Shall we stop? He really is much better at this than I am. Oh dear, I think you've hit someone's car.
That's not someone's car! That's my car! Well, Mr. Brown, thank you for offering to pay for the repairs to my car. And you passed your driving test with flying colours. As for the other, Mr. Brown, here is a special S permit. It's for your shopping basket on wheels. It's a lifetime permit, so I trust we never see you here again. And Mr. Brown, I think it's time you got a new car.
We're very proud of you, Paddington. Imagine, of all the people in the country, you were chosen to represent Great Britain in the Olympic torch relay. It's a great honor.
And a wonderful opportunity for me to add a chapter to my book, The World and Its Wonders.
Goodbye,
Paddington. Good luck. Carry a torch for Britain. Mind you don't go leaving any marmalade sandwiches lying around for people to sit on.
Oh, Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown of 32 Windsor Gardens?
That's me.
My dear sir, thank goodness we've caught you in time. There's been a terrible mistake.
An unfortunate clerical error, but all's well that ends well.
The letter you received inviting you to participate in the Olympic torch relay was intended for a Mr. P. Windsor of Brown Gardens.
Good gracious. That explains it. I thought it was funny choosing a bear to represent Britain.
A bear?
Especially one from darkest Peru.
Darkest Peru?
Oh dear, where is he?
What will Her Majesty say when she sees a bear from Peru representing Great Britain?
We have to catch him!
As soon as Mr. Gruber and I arrived in America, we went straight to the outskirts of the city to await the arrival of the torch.
Get ready, Mr. Brown. Here it comes. Follow me. I'll lead you right to the next runner. Keep an eye on my jacket, and you won't get lost.
Have you seen a bear with a torch?
Thank you! Cheerio!
Faster, Mr. Wright! Faster! I'm doing my best, Mr. Morton.
Everything was going well until... For some strange reason, Mr. Gruber started to go much faster. Wait for me, Mr. Gruber. You're not Mr. Gruber. What are you doing in his jacket? Oh, dear. I hadn't been following Mr. Gruber. I'd been following a jacket, and the wrong one at that, and I was lost.
There he is!
Whoa! Hold on there! Stop! You've got no right...
I didn't know who the two men were or what they wanted, but something told me they were up to no good. However, I had more important things to worry about, like being lost for a start, and not knowing where Mr. Gruber was, or what to do with the torch.
Hey, where are you going with that big candle?
The Olympic Stadium.
Nice coat, buddy. And those boots. Hey, wait till Eddie sees this guy.
Wait till Eddie sees what?
Cool outfit, Eddie.
It was a present from my grandma in England.
Very sensible.
Thanks, man.
I don't understand it. Young Mr. Brown was right behind me.
Time is ticking. We'll have to head for the stadium and hope he can get there by himself.
Got you! Now hand over that torch. That is to say, I think it's time for us to leave, Mr. Morton.
I'm right behind you, Mr. Wright.
Here's a bus ticket. Catch the number 112 just outside the mall entrance. It'll take you right to the stadium.
Thank you. I'll do the same for you if you ever come to London.
You can't bring that on this bus! It's no smoking!
But it's the Olympic torch. I'm on my way to the stadium to deliver it in time for the opening ceremony.
Wow! Isn't that the Olympic torch?
Never heard of an Olympic torch. The Olympic torch? Why didn't you say so?
We'll get you! We'll get you!
Get him!
Excuse me, please. Stop, please! To the Olympic Stadium
And hurry, please.
The freeway's totally blocked with traffic. We'll have to take the back roads.
Only 15 minutes to go before the official start of the games, and still no sign of the torch. Fate of these Olympic Games rests in the paws of one bear.
Did I hear something about a bear?
Don't worry, son. We'll get you there. This young bear needs to get to the stadium in less than 10 minutes, or the Olympics will be ruined.
Hang on, buddy. Whoa!
Hello, everyone. Sorry I kept you waiting.
Got you. There's been a misunderstanding. You were never supposed to represent Great Britain at the Olympics. Here's the proof. This letter states...
Oh, no! The torch is going out!
Oh, no! Holy smoke, it's going out!
Hang on, buddy.
I would like to thank everyone who helped me today, especially Mr. Morton and Mr. Wright. Without their quick thinking, the Olympic torch might have gone out.
How very strange. That Mr. Windsor from Brown Gardens looks exactly like a bear.
Now there. Coochie coochie. What a pretty baby. Coochie coochie. Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop.
Why, Mr. Curry, I didn't know you liked babies.
Of course I do. I know everything about them. And babies love me. Watch. Coochie coochie, Maxine.
It sounds to me as though she's got a mind of her own.
Just a touch of wind, that's all. Nothing a good pat on the back won't cure.
Is everything all right, Uncle? How's Maxine?
She's wonderful, Sheila. We're getting along fine.
I'm glad to hear it. Then, do you think I could leave her with you for a while? I need to do some shopping.
You run along, my dear. We'll be okay, won't we, Maxine? Psst. Bear, come over here. Now!
Oh. Is anything the matter, Mr. Curry?
Why is she crying? You've been a cub bear. What did your Aunt Lucy do when you cried?
Well, she used to lick me, but the Browns have a book about babies. I'll see if Mrs. Bird knows where it is.
What kept you, Bear? She's done nothing but cry ever since you left.
This book will tell us what to do. It's called Everything You Need to Know About Bringing Up a Child. Mrs. Brown used it for Jonathan and Judy. Bath time, sleep time, feeding time, changing time.
What about stopping crying time? I can't stand it! What's that terrible smell?
Ah, here we are, crying. A baby's crying is often a sign of discomfort. Changing the baby may help.
Changing? No one said anything about changing her.
I thought you said you knew all about babies.
Not changing them? I've never changed a baby in my life. What does your book say?
It looks a bit complicated. I'm not surprised she's crying.
I'll get what we need. Here we are, Bear. I've got all the bits and pieces. Towels, safety pins, powder.
Mrs. Brown's book says you ought to practice on something first. Or someone.
Someone? Why me? Fine. Now we've practiced. Let me get this over with.
After I gave you that book, Paddington, I found some toys that I'm sure the baby would like to play with.
I'm helping Mr. Curry change Maxine.
Good gracious! Wonders will never cease. If you ask me, you've got it the wrong way round.
Bear!
I've seen everything now. I expect you babysitters must be getting hungry. I'll come back with some lunch.
Thank you, Mrs. Bird.
Let's see. All right. Around this. Whoops. Under here. Fasten firmly. And there. All done.
Look, Mr. Curry, your niece must have left this for you. It looks like a kit for changing babies. What will they think of next? They don't even need pins. They, stick.
Now, let me get to work. Let's see how this goes on. Aha! I think I've got it. There now. Nothing to it.
Look what I found. A bottle. I expect Maxine's thirsty after all that crying.
She's thirsty? Give me that bottle there.
The book says the milk should be warm. Perhaps you ought to test it to make sure it's not too hot.
Ow! I've burnt my hand now. It's all your fault, Bear.
I think it is too hot. Perhaps you should put the bottle in cold water.
There, there. No more crying. All better now.
Perhaps you should try patting her on the back, Mr. Curry. It's what's known as burping.
Bear, there's something wet down my back. Now see what you've done, Bear. And she's crying again. Just look at the mess.
Messes. Sea baths. Babies like nothing better than a good bath, especially if they have some toys to play with.
See if you can find something in those toys Mrs. Bird brought, Bear. She seems very small for such a big bath.
Mrs. Bird, I'm just taking some toys up for Maxine's bath. Why don't you come and watch?
Your book was right, Bear. She loves this.
You're getting to be a very good babysitter, Mr. Curry. Perhaps you should go into business.
What a day. I shall never be able to look Mrs. Bird in the face again.
She keeps pulling my fur. Now I know why teddy bears are so popular. To protect real bears.
I'll warm it up. I know. Not too hot. Maybe if we're lucky, she'll fall asleep.
Look who I met coming down the street. I've told her everything's all right.
Mr. Curry's giving Maxine her bottle.
I hope he's decent this time. Why, oh, don't they look cosy together? Who would have guessed?
Thank you so much, Uncle Reginald. I hope everything's been okay.
Oh, yes. Mr. Curry was right. He does know everything about babies.
Yes. Well, it's all very easy, really. And I'd be happy to help any time at all.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear you say that, Uncle. I've been looking for someone to take care of Maxine for a week while I go on holiday. Would next Monday be convenient?
A week? Monday?
It was my summer birthday, and everything was wonderful. Until... Take a bath? I don't think very much of that as a birthday present.
That's not the present part. Going to dinner at the Porchester is the present. Dad has invited Mr. Gruber too.
You want to look your best. After all, the Porchester is a famous restaurant. And it's very expensive. Only the best people go there.
Your chair, monsieur. And what would you like for an hors d'oeuvre?
Excuse me?
Oh, Paddington, you are in for quite an experience. The Porchester is very hoity-toity.
Hors d'oeuvre? Hoity-toity? It all sounded very complicated. So I decided to seek Mr. Gruber's advice.
I have never been to the Porchester either, Mr. Brown. It'll be a nice change from cocoa and buns.
That's what I'm worried about, Mr. Gruber. I've never eaten in a fancy restaurant before.
There are many things to know. For example, let us pretend this is your hors d'oeuvre. Now, which fork would you use? Mr. Brown. Start from the outside and work your way in.
Start from the outside? But how can I reach my food if I'm not even in the restaurant?
I think perhaps it's a good thing you came to see me, Mr. Brown.
Dear Aunt Lucy, in case you're wondering why there are a lot of smudges on this card, it's because I'm writing it in the bath, so I'll be nice and clean for our dinner out. I thought it would be better to have a bath after I'd eaten, but Mr. Gruber reminded me that I must look my best for the Porchester.
A party of Browns. We booked a table near the orchestra?
Is the young, bear gentleman with you?
With us? We're with him.
Oh, then I'm afraid you can't come in. The young, bear gentleman isn't wearing the proper evening dress.
Bears don't have evening dress. They have evening fur.
And I've had a bath.
But the hat?
It was given to me by my uncle in darkest Peru. I'm never without it.
Oh, very well. We'll make an exception. This way, please. Monsieur.
Thank you. My menu's full of mistakes.
Mistakes? There is never a mistake on a Porchester menu.
Those aren't mistakes, Paddington. It's written in French.
And we pride ourselves in the fact that there is nothing one cannot obtain at the Porchester.
Well, in that case, I'll have a marmalade sandwich, please. With custard, since it's my birthday.
A marmalade sandwich? With custard? For dinner?
I like marmalade, and you said that one can obtain anything I want.
Excuse me, Andre. I'd like a marmalade sandwich as well. It'll make a nice change. Thank you, Andre.
As you wish, monsieur.
Incroyable! Suddenly everyone is wanting the marmalade sandwich.
I bring Paddington to one of the finest restaurants, and he wants a marmalade sandwich. Oh!
Perhaps you would care for an hors d'oeuvre while you wait?
Hors d'oeuvre? But that looks like salad.
Indeed.
Thank you. It looks like a very good bargain. And I know which fork to use.
It isn't all for you, Paddington. And you're not meant to eat it from the trolley.
I thought dining out was supposed to be fun, but there are an awful lot of things you can't do. Oh! Ah! Couldn't I have my water in a glass, please?
That's not for drinking. It's a pour bowl.
A pour bowl? But I had a bath this afternoon.
Since the young bear gentleman is having a marmalade sandwich, I assumed his paws might get sticky.
There's no might about it.
Where is Paddington?
He said something about finding his onion. I think I know where it went.
Well, don't tell Paddington. He'll only want it back.
Ah, my omelette flambe. You don't want to miss this, Mr. Brown. My omelette is on fire.
Don't worry, Mr. Gruber. I'm coming.
Oh, my omelette.
I've got my onion back.
Oh.
This was your idea, Henry.
I'm afraid I must ask you to leave. Throwing water over the food? Onions in the clarinet? Ordering marmalade sandwiches? You'll give the Porchester a bad name.
Nonsense. May I remind you that I ordered a marmalade sandwich too, and I'm still waiting.
I asked for custard on mine.
I think I shall ask for some as well. Huh?
If that bear goes, we all go.
Here, here.
Custard on both sandwiches, it shall be.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Sir Huntley Martin, the Marmalade King. Been in marmalade for 50 years.
Fancy being in marmalade for 50 years.
Been dining here for over 30 of them, and I've never seen anyone have so much fun.
Paddington usually has fun wherever he goes.
I was a bit worried about coming to a famous restaurant like the Porchester, but luckily Mr. Gruber showed me exactly how to behave.
Oh, no need to thank me, Mr. Brown. No need at all.
2 marmalade sandwiches with custard.
Thank you very much. I think I shall always come here to celebrate my birthday in future. And I think I may need that poor bowl after all.
Oh, wait,
I'll have one of those.
I'd like a marmalade sandwich too.
Is this right, Mr. Gruber?
Be one with the horse, Mr. Brown.
Be one with the horse? But it's made of wood.
My old friend Stan Miller will explain the finer points of horse racing to you when you meet him. He's been trying to win the Kentucky Derby for years, and he hopes this time he'll do it. That's why we're going to the United States. I want to include horse racing in my book, The World and Its Wonders.
I think bears would make good horse racers, Mr. Gruber.
You mean jockeys, Mr. Brown? A horse racer is called a jockey.
Paddington, meet Paddington Star, a very powerful steed.
Steed? It looks like a horse.
Exactly, Mr. Brown.
And this 2-legged one is my jockey, Frankie.
Oh. I think Betting Star likes marmalade.
Well, don't you be feeding any of that to her. We don't want anything ruining her chances of winning the Derby.
I never thought that marmalade could ruin anything. Except Mrs. Bird's tablecloth, but that was a very sticky chunk.
The most important thing in horse racing is that the rider and horse communicate. That brings out the fire in the horse.
I must say, Stan, these meringues are delicious. Why don't you hurry and get one before they are all gone, Mr. Brown?
I'd never tasted a meringue before. It looks like garlic. Ugh, 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 it's horrible. Ugh, I hope some marmalade will take the taste away.
Ew, something sure smells ripe around here.
Hey, my marmalade.
I thought I said no marmalade. I don't have time to play games. I have a race to get ready for.
Sorry, Betting Star. You heard what Frankie said.
Go! My foot! It's broken! I can't ride like this! What am I gonna do?
Where's the jockey for Betting Star?
Here I am. I'm afraid Frankie's broken his foot.
Get your gear and step on the scale. 133. You're over the regulation.
I'm overweight? It must have been that meringue.
I'd say it was someone else. But you have to lighten up or Betting Star is out of the race.
I had to think fast, or Mr. Miller would be most upset.
130. Check. Okay, you jocks, you got a race to ride.
I wish I could remember what Mr. Miller said. Something about how to bring out the fire in a horse. Mrs. Bird always blows on her fires when she wants to get them going.
Oh, dear, where can Mr. Brown have got to? I do hope he doesn't miss the big race.
Wow, Frankie is certainly getting Betting Star excited. Look at her go.
I'm afraid it can't be Frankie. It's Mr. Brown.
What? My big chance and you get stepped on. Don't you have any horse sense?
It was that bear and his marmalade that did it.
You should be thankful Betting Star is in the race at all. That bear, as you call him, even gave up his boots to ride.
Does he know how to ride, Mr. Gruber?
He practiced a bit in my antique shop.
This is terrible.
It certainly is. The Browns promised to watch the Kentucky Derby on television, and they'll be looking out for Mr. Brown. They are in for quite a surprise.
Paddington?
Yes, it's Paddington, all right.
The saddle was very slippery, so it was a good thing Frankie had given me back my marmalade. Some people think it's only good for eating. Oh, suddenly, everything went quiet.
Look at him go!
Right, Mr. Brown, right!
Do you think we could slow down just a little?
Come on, Paddington, that's it. Come on.
That's my Paddington!
Paddington!
She's pulling away again.
Whatever your bear's doing to that horse, it sure is working.
He's doing what you told him. He's communicating.
Go, Betting Star! Go!
That's it, Paddington, come on.
You can do it, I know you can. Come on, Paddington!
Hooray! You did it, Stan.
The bear did it, and I can't wait to thank him.
You'll have to catch him first. He's going around again.
To think, Mr. Brown, you ate a whole head of garlic. One clove would have been bad enough. But a whole head. It's no wonder Betting Star ran so fast.
Oh, I thought it was a meringue.
She must have got the full force of the smell every time you breathed out.
This will make an excellent chapter in my book, The World and Its Wonders.
I think you should eat some garlic too, Frankie, before our next race.
I can lend you some of my marmalade, Frankie. It did help take the taste away a little bit.
Just as long as it doesn't get rid of that winning aroma.
Dear Aunt Lucy, there really is nothing like waking up on a fine spring morning to the sound of birds chirping. Although, I must say some of them didn't sound too good this morning. I was determined to find out what was going on. It was the busiest day I had ever known in the Brown household. And I soon found out the reason. You see, it was all because Mrs. Bird's spring cleaning was taking place. And being the helpful bear that I am, I decided to lend a paw.
Paddington, what are you doing on the floor?
I'm cleaning your springs, Mrs. Bird. At least I was trying to.
I'm afraid you've got it wrong, Paddington. Spring cleaning simply means everyone lends a hand, giving the whole house a going over from top to bottom.
Then I think it should be called top to bottom cleaning.
Well, I think we rearranged the living room very nicely. Don't you agree, Mrs. Bird?
A definite improvement. Now, we should go and see how Mr. Briggs is doing with the roof repairs.
It doesn't look like much of an improvement to me. If this is what happens in the spring, I wouldn't like to see winter cleaning. Sweep It Clean, the do-it-yourself chimney sweep kit.
Paddington! Paddington!
We're going out to buy some cleaning supplies.
Perhaps I could do some tidying up while you're gone.
You can do some dusting if you like.
I don't know about chimneys, but this brush is very good for dusting ceilings. I wonder. Mrs. Brown didn't say anything about sweeping the chimney, but I'm sure it counts as dusting. Oh dear. I think I should have stuck to cleaning the springs.
Blimey, better be sure to wash my hair tonight. Right then, almost finished. Huh? What's going on here? Now, I'll just finish it off with this. Right, time for lunch.
That's odd. Perhaps there's a bird's nest blocking the chimney.
Huh? What the...
Warning. After sweeping the chimney, great care must be taken when unscrewing the rods, otherwise the brush may become detached and stuck up the chimney. If I were writing an instruction book, I'd tell people things like that at the beginning.
What I want to know is how these tools fell off the roof.
There's the brush. If I can just reach down and... It's a good thing that chimneys have two ends. It was strange, but Mrs. Bird said Mr. Briggs the handyman would be repairing the roof, not working in the garden.
Hello? What's all this? There's something down there. No! Don't go in! There's something nasty up your chimney.
Oh!
Careful now. Stay back behind me. Huh?
What is it, Mr. Briggs?
Something very peculiar. Ah! Got it. A boot.
A boot?
And some kind of rag. No, it's a hat.
I don't like the sound of that.
Oh. A marmalade sandwich?
Paddington! Help! We've got to get him out.
Don't worry, missus. Leave it to me.
Ow, hey! Grab hold of it, Paddington! Now, don't touch anything, or we'll be spring cleaning for months.
I'm sorry, everybody, but Mr. Brown's brush got detached by mistake.
This here Paddington may have got himself pretty mucky and covered in soot, but I'm willing to wager there ain't a cleaner chimney anywhere.
Ah, or a dirtier bear.
That night, I had one of my longest bubble baths ever. Soot sticks to fur even more than marmalade. I was combing it out for days afterwards. But I think I got the last of it. Well, almost. Dear Aunt Lucy, yesterday I bought myself a set of carpentry tools. They seemed very good value at the time, but I soon found out carpentry isn't as easy as it looks. Especially with paws. The do-it-yourself manual.
Repairs, repairs, repairs. I'm always having to mend things around here.
Delight your family and surprise your friends. I wanted to make a magazine rack for Mr. Brown, and when everyone had gone out, I started work.
Oh, ouch! What are you doing, Bear?
Do it yourself, Mr. Curry.
What did you say, Bear? How dare you?
Oh, no, Mr. Curry. I didn't mean you should do it yourself. I meant I'm doing it myself. I'm making a magazine rack for Mr. Brown.
Will you use all that wood?
Oh, yes. It's a very big job, Mr. Curry.
I have a very big hole, and not enough wood to fix it with. So...
Tools, wood. The only thing I need now is a kitchen table on which to work. A kitchen table? Where am I going to get one of those? I don't think Mrs. Bird would like me using hers very much.
Bear, did you say kitchen table?
Yes.
Well then, I think we can do business.
Business? What sort of business, Mr. Curry?
I have a kitchen table you may use, and you have this lovely piece of wood that would fix my fence just so.
All right, Mr. Curry. It's a deal.
Good. Throw in a free magazine rack for me, and we can shake on it.
A magazine rack as well?
You can't do it yourself without my table, now can you?
I suppose not.
Here we are, Bear. My kitchen, spotless as ever. And that's exactly how I expect to find it when I get back.
Certainly, Mr. Curry. Carpenters always clean up after themselves.
Well, they had better. It's 2 o'clock now. I shall be back precisely at 4. Spotless, Bear. Spotless.
Step 1. Mark out the shape of the magazine rack with a pencil and ruler. That's easy enough. I can do 2 at the same time. Step 2. Saw carefully around the outline of the rack. I think I'd better cut the sheet of wood in half first. By following the instructions in my do-it-yourself manual, things went like clockwork. Although sawing through the wood took rather longer than I expected.
Goodness, what on earth do you think Mr. Curry's up to now?
Whatever he's doing, it doesn't sound very successful.
I looked for a chapter on what to do when you've sawed a table in half by mistake, but there was nothing to help me. I suppose that's what's meant by do-it-yourself. Which is exactly what I decided to do. Now for the finishing touch. There's nothing like marmalade for filling cracks and getting you out of trouble. All I have to do now is stop it wobbling. I'm glad I don't work in a table factory. Phew, imagine doing this for a living. You can picture my surprise when I discovered... Oh dear. that Mr. Curry's table was now bear-sized. Delight your family and surprise your friends. Whoever wrote this book can't have met Mr. Curry. After I'd finished making Mr. Brown's magazine rack, I had another setback. There was no wood left for Mr. Curry's, except the piece I'd promised him for his fence. Then I had another idea.
I wonder where Paddington's got to.
Paddington, what have you got there?
It's a magazine rack, Mrs. Bird.
Where did you get it?
I did it myself, Mrs. Brown. Mr. Curry let me use his kitchen table, so I made one for him as well. I expect he had a big surprise when he saw it.
Oh, what have you done, Bear? Oh, wait till I get my hands on you.
I had used the spare pieces of Mr. Curry's kitchen table legs for the magazine rack, as I'd promised him my last piece of wood for his fence.
It seems to me, Paddington, the way you tell it, Mr. Curry got what was coming to him. Trying to take advantage of a young bear like that.
I'm sure you're right, Mrs. Bird, but I'm not sure Mr. Curry would agree with you.
Do you think if I gave him my carpentry set, he might feel better? He likes getting something for nothing.
Paddington, that's the first good idea I've heard all day. Trust you to hit the nail on the head?
That'll be another first, Mrs. Bird. My plan worked. When I offered Mr. Curry my carpentry set, he seemed to calm down. But it didn't last very long, so it was a good job he still hadn't mended the hole in his fence. Don't eat that. I was just reading about the recent sighting of the Yeti. The Yeti's been sighted. What is the Yeti, Mr. Gruber?
The Yeti, which is also called the Abominable Snowman, is a mythical creature, Mr. Brown. People claim it lives in the mountains of Tibet.
Is that why we're going there? To find the Yeti and include it in your book, The World and Its Wonders?
We're certainly going to include the story of the Yeti, but I don't hold out much hope of finding it. Like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, we are not certain the Yeti even exists. Tibet, however, is a land of infinite fascination. The Himalayas, Mr. Brown. That peak is the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest. Sir Edmund Hillary was the first person to climb it.
Did he see the Yeti, Mr. Gruber?
I don't believe so, Mr. Brown. But here's a photograph that another explorer took. Judge for yourself.
Welcome, Mr. Brown. And welcome to you too, sir. My name is Ngapo.
Pleased to meet you.
The Yeti is half man, half bear. His kind have lived in the mountains for thousands of years. Although people fear him, it is said the Yeti has helped lost travelers find their way.
Have you seen the Yeti?
Seeing him is not important. We believe he exists.
I would be happy to lead you into the mountains. With luck, perhaps we shall see for ourselves.
Oh! We will make an early start in the morning.
To see the Yeti, you must keep your eyes and ears open. But most important, your heart.
Why don't you try that theory you read about, Mr. Brown? Of how the Yeti footprints may have been made by a bear.
How did it work again, Mr. Gruber?
If you place your hind paw partly over the imprint of your forepaw, you will create a footprint positioned in the opposite direction. And that resembles the Yeti footprint.
Oh. I don't think much of the footprint theory, Mr. Gruber. It must be hard if you're a Yeti to tell whether you're coming or going.
Quite right, Mr. Brown.
We should hurry while the weather is good. In the Himalayas, the weather can change at the drop of a hat.
Oh. I'm sorry I dropped my hat, Mr. Gruber. I didn't mean to make the weather change.
I believe that's simply a figure of speech, Mr. Brown. Where's Mr. Brown?
I'll find the young bear. You wait here for me.
Mr. Gruber? Ngapo! Ah, Mr. Gruber! Mr. Gruber!
Mr. Brown! Over here!
Mr. Gruber. Now both are lost. I must find them.
Even though Mr. Gruber was dressed warmly, it sounded as though he was getting a cold. Luckily, Mrs. Bird had given me some throat lozenges for the trip. Here you are, Mr. Gruber. Have some lozenges for your sore throat. Mrs. Bird swears by them. Don't worry, they taste strong, but they do work.
Mr. Gruber! Mr. Brown!
We can use this cave as shelter and ride out the storm. How clever of you to lead us here, Mr. Brown.
But I was following you. Here, Mr. Gruber, have another lozenge.
Another? But I haven't had any yet.
I gave you one when I was following you.
I'm afraid high altitudes can make people lightheaded and confused, Mr. Brown.
My head feels the same weight as it did this morning.
We'd better rest. We'll have to try and find Ngapo in the morning. I do hope he's all right.
You must be hungry, Mr. Gruber. Here. Though I don't think I've got any bread. Why, Mr. Gruber? You were really hungry. Luckily, I have my emergency sandwich. It's a good job we're not staying in a hotel, Mr. Gruber. Your snoring would keep the other guests awake.
It's a good job we're not staying in a hotel, Mr. Brown. Your snoring would keep the other guests awake.
Your cold must have been bothering you during the night, Mr. Gruber. You were snoring very loudly.
I'm afraid you must have been the one snoring, Mr. Brown. I never snore.
I think perhaps you may be the one suffering from lightheadedness, Mr. Gruber. I never snore either.
What I'm suffering from at the moment is a light stomach. I'm very hungry.
I know. You ate a whole jar of marmalade during the night.
I what?
Mr. Brown? Mr. Gruber?
Ngapo, thank goodness you are all right. However did you find us?
Why, I followed Mr. Brown's fake Yeti footprints.
Now that's very clever, Mr. Brown. Getting up early to make fresh prints for Ngapo to find?
I didn't make any fresh prints.
But if you didn't, then... a Yeti!
I know we experienced some strange goings-on last night, but there must be some other explanation.
I don't suppose we shall ever know for certain. But it would be nice to think it was the Yeti who led us to the cave, Mr. Gruber.
Oh!
And if it was, I hope Mrs. Bird's lozenges help him get over that nasty cold. Display windows are wonderful things to look at, Aunt Lucy. They always make me want to enter the store. But I suppose that's what they're supposed to do. And it must work, because going in is exactly what Mrs. Brown, Judy and I were going to do.
Please make sure you stay close, Paddington. I don't want to lose you.
Oh, I wouldn't let you lose me, Mrs. Brown.
As promotions manager, Miss Pender, drawing customers through our doors is your job. This contest had better work. Business is terrible.
Barkridges will be full of shoppers in no time, Mr. Grundle. Just watch. Step inside, ladies and gentlemen. Barkridges is holding a mystery contest. Find the mystery jar, guess its weight, and win a prize.
Mrs. Brown, Judy, did you see the marmalade jar going down the escalator?
Oh, Paddington, you've got marmalade on the brain.
Perhaps it's because I missed my cocoa and buns with Mr. Gruber.
We'll meet you at the bottom of the escalator in half an hour, dear. Now, Paddington, we must go and let you try on some new clothes.
I'm very happy with my old ones, Mrs. Brown.
I take it the young, bear gentleman will not require this anymore, madam.
I certainly do. I've always had that hat. It was handed down to me by my uncle in darkest Peru. It's covered in reminders.
Well, there you are. Perhaps you have something nice in the way of a coat.
It won't be easy. We don't normally cater for bears. It's the legs, you know, and the arms, and the... But rest assured, madam, as ever, Barkridges will rise to the occasion.
It's not as if he has to go to work in the city, so he doesn't want anything too smart.
There, fits like a glove.
Bears don't wear gloves, they have fur. How about this one, Mrs. Brown?
That looks the very thing. But isn't the hood a trifle large?
Hoods are being worn large this year, madam. It's the latest fashion. But it's the same coat.
And it's perfect.
Ooh, look at the time. Judy will be waiting for us.
Look, Mrs. Brown.
Ah! We're falling! We're not falling, Paddington. Lifts give you a funny sensation.
Some things are funny ha-ha, and some things are funny peculiar. If you ask me, lifts are definitely funny peculiar. Especially after a big breakfast.
Oh, dear, Paddington. You're quite pale.
I feel sick.
Will you be all right here for a few minutes while I look for Judy?
I don't know if I'll be all right, but I shall do my best.
Not a customer in sight, except for a lone bear. Mr. Grundle will not be pleased.
When I woke, there was a lovely cool breeze on my whiskers, so I decided to find out where it was coming from. Then it happened. Suddenly, all the lights went out. I had to get outside where it was light.
Paddington was right. I must find him and Mummy and show them.
I could practically count the number of customers on one hand.
Excuse me, sir. I'm looking for a lady with a bear.
That makes two less. A lady and a bear? Disappeared, have they?
I don't know. Paddington does have a habit of getting lost.
Have no fear, young lady. It won't be too hard to find them. Barkridges is having one of its off days.
I couldn't believe it. It was dark outside, too. I wondered if we were in for a storm. Then it seemed as though the entire sky had fallen on me.
Sir, Barkridges is holding a super mystery contest.
It's incredible!
This will have my head. Come on, let's go inside and see what they have.
Welcome! Welcome to Barkridges. That's it, step right in. There's room for everyone.
Why, you ruffian!
But I'm not a ruffian. I'm a bear.
Oh, my. What's going on, Paddington?
I was only tidying up the window.
Tidying up, indeed. I'm sure the police will like to hear about the mess you created.
I think you'll find this...
Is this one of your promotional tricks, Miss Pender? Because if it is, I don't like it.
But, sir, it's not one of my promotional tricks.
Then we should have this bear arrested for all the havoc he's created.
It may not be a promotional trick, but it certainly worked. Look!
That's what I wanted to tell you, sir.
Good work, Miss Bender. And thank you, Bear. Barkridges would like to show its gratitude. If there's anything in the store you would like, anything, just say the word.
I told the manager the word was marmalade, and he gave me the prized jar.
See, Mummy? Paddington was right.
He also said I could dress their windows for them anytime I liked.
But I don't think I shall for a while. It's a very muy grande jar, Aunt Lucy, and window dressing can be quite painful.
Good morning, sir. Have you ever stopped to consider the importance of brushes in your life?
Brushes?
There's air brushes, paint brushes, toilet brushes, toothbrushes, clothes brushes, hard or soft bristles, in an assortment of colours and sizes, half price, one time, special offer just for you, sir.
Thank you. That's very kind of you, and it sounds like very good value.
Thank you, but we don't need any brushes.
Then how about some timepieces, or a necklace for that beautiful neck?
No, thank you, and good day. You must be wary of door-to-door salesmen, Paddington. You're too trusting. Remember, you never get something for nothing in this world.
I think door-to-door selling sounds interesting. I like the idea of helping people.
Then you'll enjoy fetching the groceries. Here's some money. Don't forget to bring back the change.
As I did Mrs. Bird's shopping, I thought about what she said. That you can't get something for nothing. And I wasn't sure she was right. After all, when the Browns found me at Paddington Station, they took me in and didn't ask for anything in return. Some people might think that Mr. Gruber gives me cocoa every day for nothing, but we have an arrangement. I always pay for the buns. Congratulations, your character, drive and ambition is about to pay off. You have been chosen for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Earn a fortune meeting interesting people. We will contact you soon. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You don't get one of those every day of the week.
Earn a fortune meeting interesting people. Why, that sounds too good to be true.
Exactly, Mr. Gruber. That's why we're warning people to be on the lookout for this con artist. He's pretending to be a vacuum cleaner salesman, but his vacuums are all broken. You'd be surprised at the number of people who actually fall for this kind of thing.
I can think of one myself.
I'd like to earn a fortune and meet interesting people. The question is, where and when?
Right here and now. Allow me to introduce myself, Mr.
Brown. Paddington Brown. I'm from darkest Peru.
Oh, how exotic. Well, I suppose it takes all sorts. Did you get my note?
Oh, yes. Thank you, but, I seem to have lost it.
No matter. Please excuse my appearance, but I've been busy all day helping people clean up and selling vacuum cleaners.
Vacuum cleaners?
Yes. And I am prepared to make you a one-time offer to join our happy band of vacuum consultants. Ask no questions, and I'll tell you no lies. This new cleaner deals with dirt, muck, ashes, soot, anything you like. Now, it just so happens you have caught me with my very last one. But because you seem a helpful sort of bear, you get our latest model cleaner, this list of do's and don'ts to help you make your very first sale, and a free hat. Now, how much are you prepared to pay for all of this?
All I've got is Mrs. Bird's change.
You don't get anything for nothing these days.
That's just what Mrs. Bird said.
You'll be able to pay her back out of the profits from your first sale. You'll see me again. If I don't see you first.
I could hardly believe my good fortune, and I was sure Mrs. Bird would change her opinion of door-to-door salesmen when she heard. I couldn't wait to get started. The do's and don'ts booklet had all the answers. All I had to do was find a likely customer.
Are you spying on me, Bear? Now, what's that you've got on your head?
Ask no questions, and I'll tell you no lies. This new cleaner deals with dirt, muck, ashes, soot, anything you like. How would you like a free demonstration, Mr. Curry?
Free, you say? The price of chimney sweeps these days is highway robbery.
This cleaner is particularly good with soot, Mr. Curry.
It had better be. I'll be right back to keep an eye on things.
Mr. Curry deserves a good demonstration because I think he falls under the heading of extremely difficult customers. That's more like it, but maybe he'll appreciate an even bigger demonstration.
Bear! What is going on? You're supposed to clean up, not make more of a mess.
Don't worry, Mr. Curry. It's all part of the demonstration. You, insert customer name, will agree that no ordinary cleaner could suck up this mess.
For once in my life, Bear, we are in complete and utter accord.
Prepare to be amazed.
Bear! Where are you? What are you doing?
I'm looking for a socket to plug this in.
Socket? I'll give you a socket. I don't have electricity. I use gas. What was good enough for my father is good enough for me.
You had a father, Mr. Curry.
Ah! This is an outrage. Someone's going to pay for this.
Oh, thank goodness it's you, Mr. Brown.
Oh, we were worried about you.
Worried? About me?
Someone has been selling faulty vacuum cleaners down at the market, and I was worried something might have happened to you.
It did.
What do you take me for? Once is bad enough, but twice in the same morning? Please! Stop him! Stop him! Stop that man! Wait till I get my hands on him!
Oh! Keep him away! He's crazy!
Oh! Mr. Curry was such a hero for breaking up the vacuum cleaner racket that he didn't mind the mess I'd made.
He got just what he deserved, trying to trick you into cleaning his house for free. I hope you've learnt your lesson, Paddington.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Bird. People who expect something for nothing usually end up with more than they bargained for. We were visiting the Barbie Ranch in Montana in the United States to research a chapter for Mr. Gruber's book, The World and Its Wonders. So I decided to learn a little about steers. They breathe rather noisily when angry. They seem very attracted to the colour red.
Mr. Brown, be careful!
And perhaps the most interesting fact of all, steers love marmalade.
I got the vermin. Now get going before you get hurt.
Thank you, sir. May I help by closing the gate?
My name's Billy Bob, and I don't need help from city folk.
He didn't sound very friendly, Mr. Gruber.
I think perhaps he has his mind on other things, Mr. Brown.
Whoa!
I don't believe that steer thinks Mr. Billy Bob is friendly either, Mr. Gruber.
You know, Mr. Brown, when I was your age, I used to dream of being a cowboy.
But who's going to teach us?
Why, the trail boss, of course.
The trail boss?
The trail boss is a seasoned veteran. I bet he'll be as rough and tough as they come.
You mean she'll be as rough and tough as they come? My name's Loretta, and this is my ranch. And I'd say you boys need some real cowboy duds. Good. Good enough, I suppose.
They wanted me to try on a 10-gallon hat, but I couldn't ever carry more than half a gallon on my head.
Well, that's all right. You can be my undercover cowboy and keep your eye out for cattle rustlers.
Cattle rustlers?
Your job is to protect my herd.
But who would want to steal your herd, Miss Loretta?
You never know in these parts.
And you won't know until it's too late.
Yee-haw! Ride 'em, cowboy!
If you want to be a cowboy, Mr. Brown, you're going to have to learn to ride a horse.
I felt like pointing out that it was Mr. Gruber who wanted to be a cowboy, not me. But it was taking me all my time to stay in the saddle.
Giddy up, buckaroo. Rope steer with your lasso. Giddy up, shout yahoo! You're a cowboy tried and true. A cowboy needs a horse to trust. A saddle, reins, and bit are a must. He always wears a wide-brimmed hat to keep the sun and rain off his face and back. To reach the stirrups is hard if you're small, but once you're up there, you really feel tall. Woo! Kick your heels to make him trot. Pull back on the reins when you want to stop. Cowboys work in all kinds of weather. Their job's to keep the herd together. If they travel long ways with the cattle, they might take a nap right there in the saddle. Woo! Giddy up faster now. Ride your horse and rope a cow. Buckaroo, shout yahoo! You're a cowboy tried and true. You're a cowboy tried and true.
Yee-haw! Well done, Mr. Brown. You must tell me your secret.
Marmalade. It sticks anything to anything. Would you like to try some?
No, thank you, Mr. Brown. I'll race you around the corral. Yippee!
While you city slickers keep Loretta busy, I'm just gonna help myself to herd cattle. Come on, shoo, shoo! Come on, shoo, shoo! Good steer. Good steer.
We've got to be careful. This herd hasn't been branded yet. Once you've finished your bath, Billy Bob, don't forget to clean the stables.
Yes, Miss Loretta.
Now, to be a real cowboy, you've also got to learn how to lasso cattle. All right, now it's your turn.
No mistakes this time. I'm gonna get me that cattle.
I hope I don't rope myself.
Why, I'm gonna have to get Billy Bob to clean up this mess. In the meantime, let's go have some dinner.
Whew, wait. There's no getting by them city slickers.
Thank you, Loretta. Or should I say, much obliged.
Well, I'm gonna hit the hay. Why don't you two just do me a favor and make sure the cattle are all locked up?
Darn tooting, Miss Loretta. Mr. Gruber, what did Loretta mean when she said her herd hadn't been branded?
Ranches mark their cattle with a brand to identify them. Without the brand, there's no proving the cattle are yours if they get lost. Good night, Mr. Brown. Don't stay up too late. Cowboys are notoriously early risers.
Good night, Mr. Gruber. I was worried about Loretta's herd not being branded, so I decided to surprise her. We woke early the next morning for more cowboy training, but we had an unfortunate surprise instead.
Oh no, Mr. Brown. The herd, it's gone.
This was the work of a cattle rustler, boys, and I need your help.
Yee-haw! Come on, move! You are the laziest herd I've ever rustled.
Hand over that herd, you rustler.
Ha! You can't prove this is Loretta's herd. She didn't brand them.
But I did. Mrs. Bird often says that once my marmalade chunks are stuck to something, they never come off. So I branded the herd with my chunks last night. This is your herd, Miss Loretta. Ah. Good lasso, Mr. Gruber.
Well, you fellas may not be your average cowboys, but you certainly have a knack for it.
I think it's more a matter of marmalade than knack, Miss Loretta. stories are exciting, Mr. Gruber. Don't you?
I do indeed, Mr. Brown. And this one, the world-famous Orient Express, is perhaps the most exciting train of all. Especially tonight, because for our entertainment, there will be some dinner theatre.
Dinner theatre? Do you mean we're going to watch people eat?
No, Mr. Brown. While we have our dinners, actors will perform a detective mystery. And we won't know who the actors are until the play starts.
I wonder if we can guess.
Your Royal Highness, your table is right this way.
Oh, Rock Clifton, can I have your autograph? You're my favorite movie star.
Well, in that case, I'd be glad to, little lady.
I think this train journey will make a very interesting chapter for your book, The World and Its Wonders.
Your rolls, monsieur?
Thank you. Do you know when the detective mystery will begin, Mr. Gruber?
Any moment now, I should say.
Whoa! Oh!
Oh, dear! Hot!
Oh, dear. I think I'm in trouble again.
Oh! Hot! Whoa!
Get off!
I'm so sorry.
I don't suppose this is all part of the dinner theatre.
Strike a light.
Here, let me help you.
What is this mess? Get me up!
I'm sorry my jar of marmalade caused so much trouble, Your Highness.
Come along, Mr. Brown. We don't want to get in the way of the play.
My bracelet! It's gone!
This is all my fault. Don't worry, Your Highness. I'll help. Bears are good at finding things.
I think we've done quite enough already, Mr. Brown.
Stop! Touch nothing! It could be evidence. I am the great detective, Inspector Hercule Ono.
How lucky he happens to be here. I'm sure he'll be able to find the princess's bracelet.
I believe we found one of the actors, Mr. Brown. Remember, there plays to be a detective mystery.
Fancy the missing bracelet being part of the mystery.
Stop, you! Nobody move. We must search the dining car for it at once.
But how are we supposed to search the dining car if we're not allowed to move?
Your attention, please. From my search, I have deduced that the princess's bracelet was stolen.
Oh! And I thought it fell off when everyone bumped into each other.
Huh. That is exactly what a master criminal would want you to think. But I will uncover the evidence that will lead straight to this fiendish thief. No clue can escape my watchful eye.
I wonder if that marmalade's a clue.
Oh, of course not. Don't be silly. I have left no rock unturned.
There aren't any rocks on a train.
It is clear that the thief is someone in this dining car. Everyone is a suspect. Silence, s'il vous plaît. The first clue you see is this partly open window. The thief lay in wait on top of the train until the precise moment the train entered the tunnel. Then reached into the car through this window, snatched the bracelet, and made good his escape.
I didn't see any of that happen.
Only one among us could perform such a daring feat. Rock Clifton. Star of countless action movies featuring death-defying stunts.
Now, hold on there, compadre. I couldn't have done that.
But he's the one who knocked the princess over, so he couldn't have been on top of the train. I think that actor's forgotten his lines.
But of course, and that is why I know the open window is merely a red herring to throw me off the trail of the real thief.
There's that interesting splotch of marmalade to consider.
After examining the facts, I am quite certain that marmalade played no part in this crime.
Hold on, Inspector. I think this bear may have a point.
Ah, just as I suspected. You wish to distract me from the obvious. It was you, the great Mesmerion.
What? Me? Who?
Mesmerion, the famed hypnotist and master thief who recently escaped from prison. With your hypnotic stare, you took advantage of the confusion and forced the entranced princess to remove a bracelet and hand it to you.
That's outrageous!
But, Inspector, this man doesn't look anything like the waiter.
That's what Mesmerion has led you to think?
What's this?
You see, he's hypnotized you all.
Excuse me, Mr. Brown has something to show everyone.
Ooh. The bracelet's been in my marmalade all this time. I was right. It was only lost after all. My Aunt Lucy taught me that often the answer lies right under your nose.
Congratulations on your improvisation. You should take a bow, too. You gave a great performance. Couldn't have done better myself.
Your jar of marmalade changed everything in the play, Mr. Brown.
We had quite a time making things up after the bracelet went missing. It was supposed to be the tiara that was stolen.
I suppose this is what they mean when they say the show must go on.
Please hurry, Professor Paddington.
We must rid ourselves of the Frog of Doom.
Have no fear, Jonathan. Once buried, the Frog of Doom will trouble us no more.
Phew. I wonder if real archaeologists ever bury things instead of digging them up.
That bear, up to his old tricks, eh?
No one will ever find it now.
Find what, I wonder?
Cursed be the one who dares to lift the lid, for he shall wish he never did.
We need to cover it up now, for all eternity.
Judy, Jonathan, Paddington, lunch is ready.
Coming, Mrs. Bird.
Come on, let's go.
Oh, I'm starving.
What are they covering up for all eternity? What have we here? Why, it's a teapot. And a nice one at that.
Cursed be the one who dares to lift the lid, for he shall wish he never did.
Dare to lift the lid? Ha! What a load of nonsense. Ah! At least now they won't have to bother filling in the hole. It's time I got myself a new teapot, and for free to boot.
Let's continue our game and finish the part where we bury the Frog of Doom.
It looks like that part's been finished for us.
Then we can go on to the next part, finding the lost treasure of Arca in the attic.
Now to try out my new teapot. Ribbit, ribbit. Curse indeed.
I just passed the building site at the end of the road. They're about to bring in one of those wrecking balls. If you're quick, you'll see it go past.
Look, here it comes now.
What's going on here? Could that bear's curse be true?
What are you looking for, Mrs. Bird?
My old frog teapot.
Why do you want that old thing?
I heard there's a craze for collecting old-fashioned teapots. I thought mine might be valuable.
Valuable?
I thought you'd never miss that teapot.
Perhaps we should have asked her before we used it to play Frog of Doom.
We'll have it out of that hole and cleaned up in no time.
If not, we really will be doomed.
Now what are they up to? I thought they'd buried that teapot for good.
Who'd have thought it could be valuable?
Valuable? Well.
It's gone.
But how can that be?
Perhaps there's more to the curse than we thought.
Maybe someone took it. Oh, what will we tell Mrs. Bird?
The only thing we can. The truth.
Let's wait until tomorrow. If we're lucky, she'll give up looking for it by then.
I don't know, Jonathan. Mrs. Bird has a funny way of finding things out.
So, it would appear you're valuable. I wonder just how valuable. Very valuable. Ribbit, ribbit. Oh, the lid. The lid! What's going on? Curse or no curse, I'll be glad to be rid of you. I'll make the rounds of the antique market and sell you to the highest bidder. Bear!
I can't understand where it's got to.
She's still looking for it. We have to tell her now.
Mrs. Bird, about your teapot.
We're very sorry. We had no idea you still wanted it.
Here it is. Take it. I never want to see it again. You can keep your Frog of Doom.
My teapot.
Not the lid! No! It's cursed! Cursed, I say!
But we were just pretending about the curse, Mr. Curry. You didn't really believe us, did you?
Pretending? But the noises yesterday, and the lights, and the thunder during the night, and the earth trembling.
Well, there was a bad storm last night.
And that building site down the street's been awfully noisy, especially with that wrecking ball.
Wrecking ball? Building site?
See? The wrecking ball caused the loud noises, and the underground drilling must have made your house shake a bit. And then there was the thunder and lightning.
There isn't any curse, Mr. Curry.
You and your tricks, Bear. You won't have the last laugh on me. Just you wait.
Well, all's well that ends well.
Not exactly. What's all this about the Frog of Doom?
It's rather complicated, Mrs. Bird. But I have a feeling it's about to strike again.
There it is, Mr. Brown. One of the most beautiful mountains in the world, the Matterhorn. It's so peaceful, so serene.
Did you say peaceful, Mr. Gruber?
My chapter on Switzerland won't be complete without a photo of the Matterhorn. But so many have been taken, it's nearly impossible to find an original angle.
I'll get you an original photo, Mr. Gruber. Bears are good at impossible tasks.
That's the spirit, Mr. Brown. I'm off to interview a famous yodeler. Let's meet back at the chalet to see what you've got.
Oh, dear. It looks even further away through the camera. What I really need is... What I really need are some skis.
May I help? Someone?
Yes, I'd like some skis, please. You see, I find going on the mountain rather dangerous without them.
Oh!
And could I trouble you for some poles? They seem to be popular.
Of course, sir. Oh, dear. I'll see what I can do. Will you be taking those goggles?
I don't think so.
Now that I have skis, perhaps the other skiers won't be such a menace.
Whoa! Watch it!
I just need a place to put them on. This seems as good a place as any. Now, what did the ski lady say? Oh yes, remember to bend your knees. Oh well, perhaps I'll skip that part. Oh dear, I seem to be in reverse.
Tell us, Franz, do you think you can win? A downhill competition in my own country? Nothing can stop me.
Hello.
Amateur skiers? They shouldn't be allowed on the hill!
Good afternoon. Is this the right stop for the Matterhorn? Oops. Oh, hello. Could you tell me? Look out! Oh, I see. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Paddington Brown.
Franz Wiedmeier. It's you!
I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I'm having trouble with my poles. Oh, look at all the skiers. Hello! Hello! Hello there! All this fresh air is making me hungry. Can I offer you some marmalade?
No, thank you.
Oh, we're almost at the top.
What the... Wait! Stop the lift! Stop! Stop! I must not miss my place in the race!
Look! Hey, Franz! Over here! Having second thoughts? Say cheese?
This is all because of that bear.
No, this isn't the right shot of the mountain. I'll have to find a better angle. Perhaps I should have asked the ski lady how to stop.
Amateur. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Coming through. Hey, look out! That's it. I'll get that bear if it's the last thing I do.
Where's Franz?
He's on his way. He had some troubles with the lift.
Hello. I didn't realize there was a bear entered in the downhill.
There isn't.
But you can't go now. That bear is still on the course.
Not for long. Just wait till I catch that bear.
I think I'm getting the hang of this. In fact, it's rather fun. If only I knew how to stop.
I wonder what's keeping Mr. Brown.
Two skiers competing at once. Most unusual for the downhill. No word on the identity of the small skier in front.
It's Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is competing in the downhill.
But he seems to be challenging Franz to clock his fastest time ever.
Hello there.
You! Get out of my sight!
Pardon? The wind!
I said, get out of my sight!
Turn right? Are you sure?
This is unprecedented. It appears our mystery skier has taken a right turn and is now heading for the ski jump.
Oh dear. I hope Mr. Brown knows what he's doing.
Oh no, oh no. I can't look. So that's how you stop.
That's one way.
Franz, how did you manage such a fast time?
Let's just say I had a little incentive.
Mr. Brown, you won't believe it. I got the film developed and look. They are the most original photos of the Matterhorn I've ever seen. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
It was my pleasure. I think